Okay. So, I was looking up some stuff related to some of the quests last night. And I suppose we'll figure out what this update is in a second. But anyways, I found out two things of note. The first is, you remember that quest for Gowry? The Millicent quest? You know, that jackass? Well, it turns out... Here. It turns out that if you happen to, for whatever reason, in the middle of Millicent's quest, like as in after you talk to her in this area, but before you actually go down to the bottom, if you go down to Gowry and talk to him, he'll say, "You must betray her. It would be so terrifying, so damaging to her that she would be consumed by despair and blossom into the most beautiful despair-rotting thing." And then you can go and betray her, and then she actually does blossom into a despair-rotting thing. It's really horrible. So I just thought I'd share that. That's cool. That's cool. The other thing, though, I wanted to share is there actually was one quest that we all forgot about. I'm not even sure what we can do about it now, because apparently we're actually past it, because we've already killed Tanith, but let's see what he says.
Oh, you again. A shame you had to see me like this. I had a bit of a slip-up, that's all. I should have stuck to what I know best. No matter. I know I can trust you. Gullible, yes, but a good soul. Make certain that Tanith gets this. Oh, it's nothing, it's just... makes me sick to see her all bent out of shape. Come on, Tanith, back on your high horse where you belong.
Yeah, so apparently Patches has a thing for Tanith. You may remember Tanith has a thing for Rykard to the point where she was eating his head. Tanith is also dead. We've already killed her.
You're able then? Then I can rest easy, my friend.
And I think technically that's it for him, because we sort of bypassed his whole quest. So there you go, that was Patch's quest. Before we do move on, I do want to give one very small public service announcement. So you may or may not remember yesterday, I was like, hey, we need to go kill this thing. I need to go to this one spot. And everyone's like, oh, I need to go way up here. And I'm like, but that doesn't make sense. So, it actually turns out the spot I need to go to is right here. So, in this little courtyard right here, this ashen area, there is a item. That item is that item, the Erdtree's Favor +2. The Erdtree's Favor +2 gives you 4% increase to your HP, 9.6% increase to your stamina, and 8% increase to your equip load. It's probably one of the best talismans in the entire game. So, naturally, I equipped it. But you might be wondering how to get in there, because once the ash takes over, there's no normal method in there. So, what you do is you go all the way over here, walk, because you can't mount, all the way across this stupid bridge, go all the way down the elevator, go all the way up here, go here, and then loot it. Oh, also, you have to fight 3 of those rotten tree spirit things at the same time, with no summon and no horse. That was actually pretty rough. I'm just going to be honest with you about that. That was a bit of a mean fight. I did it. Obviously, I've got the talisman, so I can prove it. But that was interesting. So, yay. Oh, yes, you could also just loot the item and not fight them. I, of course, didn't even know they were there, so I just walked up to grab it. So I'm sorry, to be more clear about my terminology, you do not have to fight them, but nothing indicates that you can't until someone else tells you, like Platonia just told me, for example. So, yay. This game still sucks. Alright, so, moving on. So I've been thinking about this off camera, and I sincerely doubt anything's going to change my opinion on this. But as of right now, I'm thinking a negative at the least for the actual final boss fight. That's in addition to the negative I've already given it, by the way. Now, I want to explain why a little bit before we jump into it, because I was actually sitting and thinking about this. And the last boss fight is a big, giant open field with no terrain whatsoever. Okay, boss arena, sure. But it's really huge, and the boss moves very quickly and likes to lunge to the entire other side of the arena, like way, 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 way over there. During this fight, you are disallowed from your mount. I think this one thing by itself qualifies that for not good enough to be good enough for an outro. Remember, I'm always harsher about outros and intros than the rest of the game. And this whole outro honestly kind of sucks in general. It's extraordinarily rushed, and is essentially just a boss rush with nothing else to it. And yeah, I wasn't even going to talk about the fact that the Elden Ring Beast has a huge health pool, in addition to some other problems with some of its attack moves, which also hit you for a ludicrous amount of damage. But let's ignore all of that, because, again, the mount thing by itself is why I think it deserves that extra negative. Yeah, exactly, Rex. It feels so much like the fight was designed to be fought on horseback, and it would be a nice thematic thing for the outro, right? Like, you fight him on foot, you fight Radagon, and then you fight the Elden Beast on horseback. And it's like, yeah! But no. Instead, you're just going... Oh, hang on. Went to the other side of the room. So hang on. I've been told there's an update. Let's just do that now. Let's be cautious about this. I've actually been thinking about it. I'm actually not going to try out the New Game Plus live. Instead, I'm just going to look it up. That is honestly just the safest option for all concerned. So let's pop out. Let's see if there's an update. Hang on. Take your time. Any day now. Hurry up. Did it really, Plutonia? That is funny, if true. Oh, here it is. There's the patch notes. Fixed a bug that causes some bosses to die at unintended times. Well. Okay, hang on. Let's go over here. You just gotta give me a second here. No. Go. There we go. Okay. Save backup made. While that's going, put this up here, put this up here. Actually missed a lot of questions yesterday while I was doing the boss cavalcade. Would you You've been playing this game for 88 hours. Would you recommend this to other players? More info required to really judge that. What do you mean, Darth Tyrant? Hi, but I don't understand your question. Explain to me. Okay. Let's go fight the final boss of however many times it's going to take. So I sound bored because, like I said, the last board just kind of... That last boss is just whatever. Oh, gotcha. makes more sense. Yeah, if anybody wants to join me for the final boss, tree door. This would be the time for it. You don't have to, of course. But can we just get on with this? Because we still have to do the audit. I know it's been a couple of months, but we still have to do the audit. I'll go ahead and get this started. Oh wow, look at that. I actually can't go back there. I'm stuck in this hallway. That's interesting. That explains why you set it up here. Bum 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 bum. Never. Looks like I didn't actually do it. Oh, who's this? It's Zed Slayer. Go and get Zed Slayer. Don't use holy weapons. No problem. Oh yeah, I was actually thinking about something last night. So we've got the Greater Will, right? Okay, cool. But then we have the one Great. That's the one behind the Frenzied Flame. Then we have... Oh god, okay, so we've got the Dark Moon. That's the one behind the Glint stuff. Then we've got the Scarlet Rot, which we know very little about. We've got the Dragon God, which could be any one of the other ones. We don't actually know about that. And we've got the Fire Giant God, which could also be any one of the other ones. We're not sure about that. Then we have the Death God, which we know extremely little about, but is visually distinct. And then we have the Blood God, which is actually called the Formless Mother. And I think that's all of them, but I wanted to mention this because I was thinking about all the different outer gods we know at least something about at this point in time. I think that's the full list. I feel like I'm always missing something because some of them are much more vague than the others, and whether or not they actually qualify as outer gods or not is something that's still debated. But I just wanted to mention it because if you ever wonder why I call this game the chessboard that other gods are playing on, well, that's why. Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's Miquella's thing, which may or may not be the Formless Mother, or any one of the others, but not even sure about that, honestly. Because both Miquella and Millennia were cursed in the womb, if I'm not mistaken. And we know Millennia was cursed by the Scarlet Rot one, but we're not sure what's going on with the Miquella one. A lot of juggling. And I'm dead. No, I know what Miquella's curse was, but my point is Miquella's curse may or may not be associated with another outer god. That's kind of a question mark. Nope, we killed this person. You're probably thinking of a similar name thing by default, but we have actually killed Radagon, or Redaria, or whatever the hell her stupid name is. I think like 5 times at this point. But there's the one after this, which we have not. Take 2. Not that I know of on Deathstroke. Again, my knowledge is mostly from, you know, other people have cataloged the many, many beats of info on the game, and I've just been perusing what they've been grabbing. Yeah, his aggro is just... Most bosses, it's pretty obvious who they're targeting at any given point in time. Radagon is just kind of jumping around wherever. It's a little bit frustrating, actually. Whatever. Take 7, 6, whatever we're up to. Yeah, there are... I would argue that it's objectively a bad thing when you have so many proper names that are so similar to each other. My opinion. I mentioned that before. I actually want to debate if that's a story negative, because this is already a story that it's not exactly super easy to tell what's going on in it. By design. When you add in Radon, Radagon, Godfrey, Godfrey, Godric, like, I don't even remember all of them. You get my point. The only argument I've ever heard to not give that negative is, well, that's real-life history, but that's not... I mean, that's true, but that doesn't make it better. How many German kings were named Wilhelm? Oh, jeez, that's gonna hit me. That's gonna hit me. That's gonna hit me. Yep. I think there is a Godbird, actually, isn't there? What? Yeah, supposedly that's not on purpose, Pastor. Well, I don't know if I believe that, but he has stated in an interview that was not on purpose. Okay, now the actual fight. Hey, Brennian. I forgot Godwin. And yeah, Godfroy and Godfrey. Okay, so anyways, hey, boss fight. It's the final boss. It's... If you're paying attention to the lore, it's like, oh, that makes sense. If you're not, it's like, what the hell is this thing? Which is par for the course, I suppose, but still. Oh, 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 oh. Run, 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 run. See what I mean by the this should be mounted thing? Look at this. Nonsense. Oh yeah, then there's Melania Melina. God damn it. Where is it? Where is it? Whoa, that lag spike just got me hit there, but thankfully didn't kill me. You saw that, right? Dead because that attack just straight up kills you. Sucks. Oh my god, this frickin' fight. Yeah, the two that stick out in my mind on Deathstroke are the Fire Giant and the Dragon Gods. Because we know that they exist, and we know that, you know, they were against the Greater Will. But they could be any one of the other Outer Gods. We don't have enough definitions to qualify them as separate entities, technically. This is a made-up example, but for example, the Fire Giant's Outer God could just be the Frenzied Flame, for example, the one great. Nice and cautious here. Wait, all on Plutonia? Jesus, okay. I suppose. Crap, I didn't dodge that, but whatever. No, Blitzable. With the setup I have, I am at medium load. That's exactly why I have this setup. Run. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that homing attack is really hard to see if you're on the boss. And it is pretty much a kill you. That's actually one of the things that killed me yesterday, so... I don't blame you for that. Since that's the explosion attack, which it is. And he's gonna go to the entire other end of the universe, of course. And now we got the circle attack. Nope, I'm wrong. I haven't even seen that attack. Hi, Detailer Smith. What's going on? This is the final boss, so spoiler warnings. Well, God, we have so many on Deathstroke. But, I'm kind of going to go with the community here. I think that's something to do with the Coliseum is probably going to happen. There! Ugh! Go away. God. Thank you, Zedslayer and Plutonia. Much appreciate. So now, yeah, let's get our souls back. There's even a grace here. Check it out. Yeah, stamina recovery, speed, and the roll is definitely different. And I can guarantee from personal experience that the heavy roll, the fat roll, versus the medium roll does change your iframes, which is significant. So, FYI on that. I know, right, Blitcherville? I've never actually done low load. Hang on, let's actually... There we go, there's light load. I can kind of tell that's a little further, but that's minuscule. And yeah, the sprint does feel slightly faster, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with the consensus that I've heard from many other people that light load is not worth it. Medium load is worth it. Medium load, good. Let's go and make sure we look our ugliest. So much I respect this game as we're gonna look super ugly. The savior of the world, oh, like a rock. Oh, I'm sorry. So, hang on. Let's go and do this. Oh my god, yes, Detailer Smith. There's so many. Alright, so, in the interests of question mark, we're going to go ahead and... So, I've already made a backup. But there's a blue sign! Hey, check it out. Blue sign. Because, so, that makes sense. The coloring has to do with the lore, blah, blah, blah. But let's go ahead and do the Ronnie ending. And then we'll YouTube the other endings. Yeah, the micro-dungeons are very repetitive, and a lot of bosses are very repetitive. Not all of them. It's not even the majority of them, but there are a lot of repeat bosses.
The battle is over, I see.
What's wrong with the inside of your hat? Nope.
Let's...
Sorry.
I do solemnly swear to every living being and every living soul. Now cometh the age of the stars. 1,000-year voyage under the wisdom of the moon. Here beginneth the chill night that encompasses all, reaching the great beyond. Into fear, doubt, and loneliness.
Oh yeah, I need to know what the translation issue was if someone doesn't
Path
mind sharing.
stretcheth into darkness.
I thought Gideon had them do that on Deathstroke. I could be wrong, I was presuming.
Let us go together. My dear consort eternal.
The Bull Goat Man. That was the end. So that doesn't explain anything, so negative story. But, let's go and skip this. Begin Journey 2. No. Okay. Hey. Oh, there we go. Yeah, usual Souls ending. So. Gotcha, enemy show. Can't actually think of a spot now that I think about it. Whatever, this looks like this is a good, you know, visual, I think. Now we just PvP. We've hit the end game. Let's get our actual armor on, our cosmetic armor on here. I think I kind of like this one a little bit. Where'd it go? I bank it? Up there, others. There we go. Alright, there we go. We did it! We beat the game. Woo! You know, I wish I felt accomplished, but I really don't. Hang on. So, that was the Age of Stars ending specifically, but we've got a couple other endings here, which I'm going to try to pull up here via the magic of YouTube. So this is apparently Age of Fracture. Here's your head back. Sorry about that. I mean, you did try to kill me, so, you know. There are some variants, Pastor. No, Gigapudding. In fact, we're not even sure if they always were the same person or if they merged later on. And there is actually contradictory evidence. That is to say, there's hard evidence for both explanations, which are mutually exclusive. So, make of that what you will.
The fallen leaves tell a story.
We did it! It's not burning anymore, yay!
How a tarnished became Elden Lord.
Ooh.
In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall an age of fracture.
Okay, which means what exactly? Oh, you're not going to tell me. Okay, so anyways, that's Age of Stars. We already did that, so let's skip forward to Age of the Duskborn. So it's meaningless, Uthor, is what you're telling me. We did get to sit on a throne. That's a true statement. Yes, Uthor. So do you. So does everyone in the history of the ever. There's no such thing as an original thought. You know, I would actually like that on Deathstroke. But I will try not to be facetious. I understand the point. I disagree with it. I think there is such a thing as, you know... Oh, sorry. Hang on.
Tell a story.
To be continued. Which ending is this?
Tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between.
But, like... Okay, there's a little bit different, I guess.
Look back upon us and recall the age of the Duskborn.
But... Is that it? Okay. My point overall, Huthor, is I agree that there is a benefit and a value in a choose-your-own interpretation kind of a thing. Blessing of Despair, this is dung jackasses, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But there's too much. I think it has gone too far to interpretive. This is too much of a blank sheet of paper, in my opinion. Especially if you haven't done a deep dive. Like, it's admittedly hard for me to separate what I have Googled about this game versus what the game itself has told me. Yeah, I gotta be real. I'm getting a real Mass Effect 3 vibe here. Why is that a bad thing? I suppose that's a good question, Uthor. Because I think it's a bad thing. I find it to be an unacceptable outro. If Final Fantasy VI ended, and there's just this bright light, and Realm walks out and is like, hi, and waves and walks off the camera, that would be a terrible ending. And thus begins the age of the post-Magi War. The end?
The fallen leaves.
Screw that. Tell a story. Yeah, I get it. What the hell is that? Oh, right, this is the Blight ending.
How a tarnished became
Please tell me the dialogue is at least different in the We Blighted the World ending.
in our home, across the fog, the lands between.
This is the Blight ending.
Our seed will look back upon us and recall the reviled curse.
Hey!
Find our a
Different dialogue. Oh, okay. Woo.
blessing of despair.
I mean, the voice actor was different too. I caught that, but at least he's saying something different. All right, so the next one is what is probably intended to be the good ending. This is the one I believe we get for doing Gold Mask's quest, where we establish an order in which even the gods are subject to consequence. By the way, when I say gods, I don't mean the outer gods, I mean the idiots walking around. So, you know, like the demigods and Marika and all that fun stuff. Or Marika, or however you say her damn name. Yep, the last one will be Lord of the Frenzied Flame. The other ending I was considering until I realized what it meant. And by realized, I mean, I looked it up. Oh, you'll see a Giga Pudding. It's not this one, it's the next one. It's the next one.
The fallen leaves.
Tell a story. Yeah, I get it, I get it.
Story
Oh my god.
of how a tarnished became Elden Lord
Man, that is very golden. Look at that.
in our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us.
Listen to that uplifting music. And this is totally the good ending.
The age of order.
Oh my god, is that it? Alright, whatever. Frenzied Flame is going to be different. I know it is, because I know there's actually 3 endings. There's the one we did, there's the Frenzied Flame, and then there's the other ending, which has different colors. Nice hair. I like how he's naked. Oh, you have to be. That's right, you have to be. So there's the 3 fingers, which may or may not exist in service of another outer god, which may or may not exist. It's interpretive. Click. The 3 fingers may or may not be something that was summoned by the collective will of all the people that were shoved down here because they were suspected of being heretics. That's interpretive. The dude who summoned them, that's the asshole we actually encountered already, I forget his name, may or may not have orchestrated all this as a result of the person who was trying to, you know, cause chaos and death on a massive scale. That's interpretive. But what we do know for certainty is the Chaos Flame does actually exist. We've seen the Frenzied Flame, anyway, we've seen its effects out in the world. And the Frenzied Flame isn't... So the big reason I didn't go with this ending eventually was because this doesn't mean burning the world. That would have been fine, just burning the world. This means reverting the world to a state of primal chaos. Which is a little bit different than just burning everything. The statue really does look like they're dabbing, don't they? That's true, Plutonia. But whether or not the frenzy is a representative of an outer god, whether the one great exists or not, is kind of debatable. But yeah, Ronnie's ending kind of lets everything burn and then start anew. Whereas this ending just burns everything down at the end. I have Sauron reference. We're walking. We're walking. I should mention, if for those of you wondering, the game goes way out of its way to warn you not to do this ending in-game by multiple characters like 5 times. So even though the Dung Eater's ending probably should be the actual bad ending, by the constructs of game design, this is the bad ending of the 3. Say more. I do, Undeathstroke. It's part of why we stopped doing that quest chain. The end. That is it. Alright, so you know me. There's a part after. Well, it's not in the YouTube, so whatever. That's the end of the YouTube. Oh, you're... right. The melon is like, I'm gonna kill you. So there's a way to actually not get that scene, and I'm assuming this person didn't do that. But Melon is like, I will deliver you to destined death. And she, like, grabs the... I forget what it is, but it's the thing that lets us summon Torrent. She's like, Mwahaha. Mwahaha. What the world? Oh, okay. I mean, I could see that, Huthor. Like I said, there's... In my opinion, there's no good ending here. Ronnie's felt like the least bad. Here, let me unmute the game. So... I know Huthor's going to dislike me for this, and I do apologize, Huthor, but at a bare minimum, we're looking at 2 negatives for the endings. I'm okay with merely 2 endings for the outros. But I would be really hard to talk me down from 2. Now that I got this stuff up here, let me pull this down here. So, the first is the most vague problem. The vaguest problem I have with the ending, the outro, let's be more clear about this, is it feels really ill thought out, especially compared to several other chunks of the game. This concludes with, or coincides with my theory that the game was a bit rushed towards the end, which is true with the overwhelming majority of games ever, so that's not exactly something that's unique to this game. But a lot of the outro on both axes felt rushed, felt like, just get it over with. And there you are. There are a couple of spikes of exceptions there, which I will grant the game, but otherwise it's just kind of... The multicolored, barely different endings is just kind of eyebrow-raising, which is, I agree with Tyron on that one. But the Dark Souls ending negative is there in spades. Huthor is correct. I'm not actually disagreeing with Huthor, as weird as that sounds. I just disagree on the result. We both agree that this sandwich clearly has blueberries in it. It's just, I don't think the blueberries are a good thing, and Huthor thinks they are, or that they're neutral, one of the two. So, what we have here is an ending where there is not an ending. It's a non-ending. It's, alright, go home, you're done. And that's it. That's the outro. And yeah, there's just, it's, alright, you're done. Okay. Complete lack of satisfaction. It's a shame, because there are actually several bosses in this game which I felt legitimately satisfied about beating on both axes, and just that last thing was just, alright. Also true, Amadeus. That is something to be kept in mind. I find myself wondering if patches and or DLC will expand on the ending or outro, or maybe just add other quests or whatever. I don't know. What I do know is negatives. I actually agree with that quite a... Well, okay, Dung Eater I'll give you. Dung Eater, it's really clear what's going on there, because Dung Eater is just his... shut his trap. Ugh. And if we're being honest, we have at least an idea of what we're getting into at the Frenzied Flame. No, it was incomplete, Uthor. That's the statement being made. Past tense. That's not a debatable. They actually had to patch in stuff to fix stuff on the story quests. Whether it's incomplete now, that's a little bit more debatable. I don't think it's satisfying, but that doesn't make it incomplete. It just means, okay, you know, that just makes it Mass Effect 3. Let's see here. Yeah, that's kind of an unrelated thing here. Okay, so let's do a little Googling. We've done so much of that. But it's okay, it's to good effect. Alright, New Game Plus. How do New Game Plus? Let's check a few things here. Yeah, the grafting thing really did feel like it was just Godric's thing. And then they kind of didn't do anything with it. And yeah, the Magitech prosthetic hand, which Millennia also had, was just kind of there. No. I do not want a New Game Plus. No. No. Okay, so, what does not carry over? Great Runes, that sucks. All bell bearings. So the bell bearing menu goes back to default. The medallions, which allow you access to stuff, that makes a degree of sense. The pure... because there's probably going to be DLC for this game, Hazardous, and you're probably going to want me to cover it. So I'm not going to New Game Plus, so that my save is still here for when that DLC comes out. Key items are gone. All key items are gone, apparently. All mending runes are gone, so no ending unlocks are kept forward. Sites of Grace are removed. That actually kind of sucks. That would have been a nice thing to keep. Martyr effigies. I don't even know what that is. Blah, 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 blah. That's gone. All letters and clues and documents are gone. The painting puzzles are gone. All side quests are reset. That makes sense. All spells are lost. Wait, what? Oh, no. The things that give you access to spells. Okay, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I think... help me verify this, because it says sorcery scrolls and incantation prayer books are lost upon reset. Question mark? Explainate that to me, please, because I didn't really poke at spells all that much. Okay, so the access to buying spells goes away. Similar to access to buying stones goes away. Okay, that makes... I don't actually like that, but at least that makes sense. The Mark of Frenzied Flame is removed from your character. Dragon Communion incantations carry over, but must be purchased for cosmetic changes. Okay. So, not bad in terms of stuff that carries over. I disagree with several of their choices, but that's neither here nor there. What changes with New Game Plus? So each New Game Plus adds a multiplier to how many runes things drop. It changes based on area. Further journeys increase it based on an additional multiplier. People have tested up to New Game Plus 7, aka the 8th time through, which only gives a 1.275 multiplier on top of the 5 times multiplier already given. Enemies and bosses do more damage and have more health. Blah, 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 blah. No new items appear. All items can be... what carries over? Levels, runes are kept. Armor, weapons, seals, staves, and their upgrades and their upgrade materials. Incantations and sorcerers are kept. Cookbooks are kept, as well as the crafting kit and the tailoring tools. All talismans and talisman pouches keep. Duplicates cannot be equipped of any talismans. Yeah, I actually already saw that. Torrent is available immediately. That's nice. Map exploration is kept. Map fragments are kept. Location markers are kept. Custom markers are kept. Sites of Grace are gone. Co-op has apparently there's a level difference barrier, which I don't even know existed, but because you can bypass the level difference barrier with the password, which is what we've been using from day one. Invasions are still a thing. Boss remembrances are kept. Sacred tears are kept. Golden seeds are kept. The flask and any crystal tears are kept. Stone sword keys are kept. Stone sword keys respawn. Memory stones are kept. All wet blades, cracked pots, ritual pots, perfume bottles are kept. Dragon hearts, rune arcs, starlight shards, memories of grace, bunch of stuff. Reusable stuff is notes are kept. Prattling pates are kept. And gestures are kept. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I'm thinking... I'm going to look up what we did for Bloodborne, because it looks like the same there. I think it was just one positive New Game Plus, but let's verify, shall we? Bloodborne. Losing sites is something I could live with if they did it more manually. What I mean by that is, I feel like they could manually decide which sites you keep and which ones you don't by flagging. It would require a single flag with 2 states: keep, don't keep. And so you keep some states, and like ones that break the terrain or whatever you don't keep, and shrug, you know. Admittedly, that would be a bit more work, but honestly, I don't think it would be that much additional work, to be completely blunt. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, that would be awful, Luthor. That would be Chrono Trigger at that point. Yeah, looks like we gave... I'm just double-checking, but it looks like we gave a Gameplay Plus to New Game Plus for Bloodborne, and it looks like we will do the same here. So, Plus to New Game Plus. Ooh. Yeah, I think the reason I wanted to compare it to Bloodborne 2 is I was really not super impressed with the Bloodborne thing. At least here it's a frickin' option. What was it like in Dark Souls? Does anybody know? Because I don't think I've ever New Game Plus in a Dark Souls game before. I know I haven't. Okay, so I guess 2 started the would you like to thing. Sorry, they're doing the assassin drop here. So enjoy some ambiance while I do some typing. I'm just going to fill out the audit sheet. Then we're going to do the audit. We're going to see how this one lines up. So give me a minute, please. Sorry. Right. By the way, this is your last chance to get in a golden guess. I'll give you until I finish filling out the sheet, and then I'll cut it off. So if you want to get in your golden guess, type in exclamation mark guess. And those of you who get closest, and by those I mean that of you that get closest to the guess, can put money towards a run of your choice. No, it doesn't work that way, Lord Haremont. I wouldn't even know how to begin to make that work that way, Lord Haremont. You have to actually go to the sheet and add it yourself. Okay, so that's all of... Ah! No, not... One game. There. So we have builds. Sorry, there's a lot of pluses and negatives to plug in here. That's why this is taking a minute. Any other requests for music? Again, if you don't put it in the sheet, it doesn't count, Cronin. I don't count anything that's not on the sheet. What's something lighthearted? How about perfect music for what's going on screen here? Can someone please explain to Cronin how to guess while I type this up? Please and thank you. I love this take on this song. I liked that boss, Amadeus. Yeah, truly perfectly rating a lot of bosses is kind of impossible, and that's just sort of something I accept. Because there's not really much I can do about that, you know what I mean? It's just kind of how it is. The only other way I could rate the bosses is to play through the game 15 times, maybe 16, and each time do a completely different build and just, you know, try everything out, and that's just insanity. I'm sorry, but no, I like to be thorough, not insane. Call me a weirdo. Give me a moment and I will answer your question, Amadeus. I'm running out of songs here. I keep taking too long. I'm sorry it takes so damn long. Usually I try to do this off camera, and I have not made the time recently because I like sleeping. So that's not true. I actually hate sleeping, but I do need to sleep. Here, we'll go with this song. We should be done by this. Okay. So that. We're adding a new category to the audit list, by the way. Gotcha, which, believe it or not, we haven't actually really run into that much yet. There's a couple of previous instances where we're going to add it back in. Cough, cough, Mega Man. But, this is one of the first times. I thought about it. There's actually plenty of games that have gotchas. So, we're going to have to add a category for that at some point. So, whatever. Yeah, like, gotcha. So, gotcha level design, it's actually a really old concept. It goes back to the Atari era, specifically. It's when there's nothing indicating that there's something that's going to give you a problem, but then something jumps out and, gotcha! It's really common in FromSoft games, but when I think of gotcha moments, I tend to think of old NES platformers, which tended to do that way too much. Cough, cough, Ninja Gaiden. Like, that's... You know how I generally like to gauge concepts based on what I consider the worst of a concept? Ninja Gaiden 1 on the NES is probably the worst gotcha game I've ever seen, so... That would be a 3 negative kind of a thing. Or, like, you're going down a corridor and an enemy just pops out absolutely nowhere, scripted, to make sure that it hits you, or... I suppose those are actually two the other things. So yeah, those would be the two categories, Betonia. Which is why this is not a triple negative category, because holy crap. Like I said, this is nowhere near as bad as Ninja Gaiden. Jump scares depend. Because jump scares, generally speaking, would probably not be gotcha. Especially if you're playing a game that has jump scares. Because you're probably waiting for those. But yeah, several of the Mega Man games have gotchas, to give another example. Like I said, it was pretty common in the platformer space back on the NES. Requests. I don't know if I agree with that, Blade Tival, but that's only because I can't think of an example of that off the top of my head. I guess I'll put this here. Possible Plutoni, but I don't think you're going to talk me out of this one, because I hate it, so, sorry. If anything, I was holding off on giving it for a long time, because, yeah, you know, it's my fault for not checking every corner at every area of every dungeon in the entire game. And then I just got really sick of it, so I gave the negative, and we move on. Speaking of Mega Man here, let's have some Mega Man music. That'll make me feel better. There we go. Mega Man. And then outro. Okay. Alright, so now we do the actual audit. All I've done right now is put everything that we've currently given into the game. Now we actually go through the list and compare and contrast this to other games and see how do we work this out. So, hang on. Amadeus says negative 34, which is, sorry, negative 33 apparently is the one you're referring to. Overworld flow and density issues in Liurnia. So let's look up where Liurnia is, because I don't remember the name. Liurnia. But I think that's the lake area. Which it is. In my opinion, Liurnia is not well laid out. It is pretty much the exact opposite in terms of game design with regards to guidance and flow of exploration is what I call that. To use as a counterexample here, let me pop into the game here. Ugh. Come on, give me my camera back. Give me my camera. There we go. So, to use as a counterexample. Whoa. Come on, game. This area right here has very good flow and overworld design to it, in my opinion. There's you spawn out here facing this direction, and there's all sorts of there's things that they do with regards to angles, lighting, using color to draw your attention to something, using movement to draw your attention to certain stuff, making sure that you go through an area in a certain direction so you're facing a certain way. There are lots and lots of things that video games do, which is all part of this guidance and flow of exploration. It's a little different for a 3D game than a 2D game, because in a 2D game, you could literally showcase what's on camera at any given point in time. See Metroid. But in a 3D game, you actually have a lot of tools at your disposal to say, go up here, which can also go here, but up here, but also over here, which can also go here, but over here. And there's just kind of this branching exploration thing. And almost every step leads to something new, which leads to something new, which leads to something new. And it just kind of naturally flows and branches and rewards and concretes. I actually really like this section. I'm going to repeat something I said just last night. To my friend Pax. And apparently I can't do the camera the right angle, so you're just going to have to live with this. If this was the whole game, I would probably be a whole lot more positive about this game. Yes, I know I said the same thing about Bloodborne, but I stand by it. If this zone was 100% of the game, and, you know, it's all about going through here and going about here and exploring this area, and you check this over here, and there's the things with Blythe and his stuff, and then you go up here, and oh my god, what's that over there? Let's not mess with that. Let's go over here, and oh god, here's the final dungeon. Da-da-da-da. This, it would take some restructuring, I'm not lying. But this would be a sufficiently enjoyable game by itself, because I don't have a lot of complaints about it. Then it starts to break apart immediately the moment you hit the second zone, because you enter this zone from one of two separate areas, both of which have completely different flow, one of which is actually difficult to even progress, but the other of which takes you to an area which you arguably shouldn't even be going to, including an area where you'll literally run into an actual wall preventing you from progressing, and nothing else to go to other than a giant cliff and going all the way back. And then, you know, we've got the flooded area. This is okay, but it's just a big open area, so it's just a big open area. We've got the underground area, which isn't even properly showcased in the map, one of the only times the map fails. And then you got this upper area you can't even reach until way later in the game, so that's just, huh? And then this thing, which leads to absolutely nowhere. This stuff, which you actually get to from up here, and the whole layout of this zone just kind of sucks. But it's okay, because it's not the worst layout in the game. This is, right here. This area, not even like the rest of this is whatever. This section right here can go straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I hate this section of the game. Moving on. You'll notice I actually gave 2 negatives to this crap, as opposed to the previous section. Anyways, so, let's go through the audit, now that I've answered the question. So, story. Let's start with story. Animation for story. Thoughts? No. Sorry. Let me get that away so you're not thinking about the volcano. We're talking about the whole game. We're doing the audit. This is the audit. We got this. Audit time is a go. I'm seeing a lot of people saying wash. Is this FF2? Sorry, I had it on random. This is actually FF3. My bad. Sorry, I had it on random. Here, you know what? Just for Hasdus. So I'm seeing some washes, so we'll give it a wash. Atmosphere and tone, we already gave a positive for that. Thoughts on story? Huh? You don't like a burning cottage? Okay. Hang on. There's a sight! Oh, I like that. We'll just leave the camera right there. Alright, so... where to give a plus to atmosphere and tone. There is no Babylon 5 effect going on whatsoever. There is a lot of background lore. We gave a positive for that. There's no banter to speak of. There is no branching narrative to speak of. There's no narrative camera work to speak of. We gave many character positives. We've got... There's... cinematics... and then we have consequence storytelling. No. Cutscene incompetence. Dialogue. What do we think of the dialogue? There, if it's bothering me that much, I'll move on from it. What else we got here? I'm just leaving it on random. Yeah, that's appropriate. Whoop! I love how I tab back in the camera, just immediately goes... Just instantly. There we go. That works. See, I'd use this as the thumbnail, but this would kind of be a spoiler. Yeah, I think the dialogue's a wash. Let's just give the dialogue a wash and move on. We already gave a plus to doodads. There's no empty text. None of that. No endgame to speak of. No external continuity whatsoever. No fake drama, no foreshadowing, no humor. No integration, no internal Hold up, hold up. Actually, I have to give a plus for internal continuity. As much as I don't like the story of this game, and I super don't, this game is very internally self-consistent. So, plus to story. Oh, right, I should do that. Hang on a second. Let's lock this down so that nobody can change their guesses really quick. There we go. I don't think that the foreshadowing that exists is positive worthy. That's assuming I even agree if there's foreshadowing, which is a debatable. But I absolutely don't think the foreshadowing adds to the narrative. That's the whole point of a positive, is that it adds to the narrative. I don't think it does. So, my opinion. The intro, narratively. I've got to find just a good ambient song for this. You know what? That works. Whoops. There we go. So the intro narratively, we start off, there's a cutscene which explains nothing, of course, but that's okay. And then we're in a cave, and then we have the tutorial. I liked the tutorial. But narratively, then we walk out here, there's Varane, he's like, hi, and then there's the thing hitting us, and that's effectively the end of the intro. Narratively. I'm gonna give that a negative, because you know me, I am harsher about intros and outros than I am other things. I feel that's insufficient for an intro. Lighting. Ooh, that's a good question. Lighting narratively, specifically, not gameplay-wise. Like, how much does the lighting add to the tone, the vibe, the scene, the narrative, etc., etc.? What is making that sound? Is that just a sound that everywhere has right now? Nope. Apparently that's like the gray spot or something. You know, just because I don't agree doesn't mean I don't value your comments. That's true for everyone, but I'm specifically saying that in reaction to Huthor right now. Some people... Let me go ahead and say something else here, because this is something I've run into as a problem several times in my reviewing career. Many times, people have been hesitant to, or told me they are hesitant, to speak up when they disagree with me, because, like, they think that it doesn't matter, or that I dismiss their opinion, or whatever. Because they look at it like a contest, like the goal is to change my mind. And that's fine, but please don't do that. I do want to hear contrasting opinions, even if I don't agree with you. Now, that's fine. I feel like this is something I need to repeat, especially every time we do these audits. I don't mind hearing other people disagree with me, as long as we can all be civil people about it. But, getting back to the point, lighting from a narrative perspective. So I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking I'm going to probably give a negative to lighting for gameplay, and a plus to lighting for story. Because of that. Right there, you know. I have changed my mind. There is actually quite a few times where people have changed my minds. There's also times when people bring stuff up I didn't think about. I've got a billion things running through my head at every given point in time. You know, I can't keep track of everything. Part of the purpose of the audit section that we do at every review is to try and cover things that we forgot. Like the lighting. So, let's go ahead and give a positive to lighting, to story. Localization. That's an interesting question. I feel like this music doesn't fit. I feel like there are aspects of good localization here and aspects of bad localization both. We could give this a plus and a negative. That's not exactly unheard of. Now let's go with this. The frost music for the fire area. Let's go and just do that. I mean, think about Jar Baron, for example, of localization. Yeah, no, actually really bad localization. We've covered games that do that. Okay, so plus, okay, so we have a category for, effectively, side quests. Now, I actually gave a positive for one of the side quests we did in the game. That would be Alexander's Chain, specifically. Any other thoughts? Because we've done almost every side quest in the game. The only ones we didn't do are ones we were never going to do. Like the Frenzied Flame arc with, I can't remember her name, and Dung Eater's Chain, and Patches, although we didn't intend to skip Patches' quest, but whatever. I think we gave a plus to Rhea, didn't we? We didn't give a plus to Rhea. See, this is why we do this. Because I forget stuff. We did Nephali's, yes. Yeah, we actually didn't give a plus. Okay, so plus to Rhea. We did do Rogers. We did do Nephali's. We did do Sellens. Such as it was. Well, that's on the gameplay axis, DJT, not the narrative axis. Fia's, yep, we finished Fia's. I think I know what I'm going to do. Yeah, box quest ends well, but only if you do it a certain way. Box ending is null. There is no ending. He is still alive. The end. So there you go. Best outcome. Bach is gone. Okay, so plus 2 quests. We'll put those here. All right. No. Yeah. Doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. Hang on. Let's skip forward a little bit here. There's no Princess Peach sections. There's no party limitation because it's just one party. It's just kind of whatever. The hell? Is this ash fog? Good lord. That's just... Think about that for a second. Think about all of this being ash. That would just be... Anyways, it's probably just fog, but still, that's a terrifying thought. What do we feel about sound design from a narrative perspective? And then we got to cover the big one. And that's kind of it at this point. You actually already gave a negative for sound balancing. So I guess that is valid for that. What do we... Let's move on to the big one. What do we think of themes? Because if there's anything that these games tend to lean on most heavily when it comes to the narrative axis, it is themes. Although I couldn't tell you, if you put a gun to my head, what the theme of this game is. Or a theme of this game. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I'd be like, trees! And then I'm dead, because that's a dumb answer. I suppose that's valid. It could be choose your own theme. Which of these swords is the Moonblade? Okay, so the Moonblade is the one that's got the weird stuff on it. Sorry, I was just curious while I was looking at it. Yeah, we could go with the theme of continuation and stagnation, but they've been doing that since Demon Souls. That's whatever. Not that that's a good or a bad thing. It's just commentary. Alright, well, if that's true, then our net story score is plus 15. Let me figure out how many days I've been playing this game. Nine days. Alright, gameplay. Okay. So, enemy AI design. While I leave that question sitting there, I'm going to do a quick calculation. I'm muted. Actually, I suppose since I did off-camera stuff, I should just check that for my game time. Stop being in this menu. There we go. So what I'm hearing is a plus and a minus from the chat. We can do that. That works. I have absolutely no idea how that would even work, Roman Cure. Because I use a spreadsheet to keep track of that stuff. So I have no idea, is the answer to your question. Okay, so enemy AI. Check. That doesn't apply. Animations from a gameplay perspective. This is all about how you can see what's going to happen where and when. Or just having generally good animations that look cool, or stuff like that, right? This is kind of important because that's kind of a bread and butter of a game like this. Yeah, telegraphing is sort of a big deal in a game like this, since you're supposed to be able to see it coming. Oh, hey, the fog's gone. Behold its glory. I wonder. Yep, yep, yep. There is one animation I could always pull out of the snake tree spirit. It's when it's going to grapple you with its jaws. Because it actually pauses for about a second, and then opens its mouth really wide, and then just lunges right for you. The rest of it, I just kind of play it by ear. There we go. Behold, my legacy. Yeah, let's scooch over there. There we go. Nope, no. Don't go over the ledge. There we go. Actually, hang on. Yeah, let's get like a 1/3 shot. There we go. All right. I'm not seeing any consensus in chat, so we're just going to skip over this. No audio spam issues, no auto battle issues, no alternative leveling at all. Oh, I was kind of thinking that, Amadeus, because I can think of several cases where, I could clearly tell and see what was going to happen, and then some cases where I had absolutely no idea what was going to happen, but that's neither here nor there. How do we feel about backtracking in this one? Since backtracking is usually pretty prevalent in an open world game. See, I'm actually with you on that, Plutonia. Usually, a game like this, including a FromSoft type game, tends to be very backtrack heavy. But I didn't really have a lot of backtracking in this one. There were a couple moments where I was like, "Oh shoot, I have to go do a quest that I forgot about." That was kind of it, and that's more a part of the quest design than anything else. So yeah, no, I think we could skip that. So. There's no that. We gave lots of pluses to bosses. Several negatives to bugs. There's builds. There's no built-in cheats. There's no choices in what we define that as. Combat, core mechanics, cosmetics. Crashes. We did have the crash problem. Difficulty curve. I don't even want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Difficulty options. Raise eyebrow. Nope, we never cheated. This game does not get the cheat tag. Woo. Counter rate. Just a odd thing. Enemy variety. Didn't I give enemy variety positives? Enemy variety. Yep, okay. I did. I just forgot to write them down. My bad. This game has very good enemy variety. I give pluses to that. The game has good fast travel. The game has... Gotcha. The game has good graphics. The game has bad graphics. The game isn't very grinded. Ah, that's a fair point, Plutonia. And you're right, that's actually the only time that really popped out at me. So, you know what? Yeah, we'll put that there instead of there. That's a good idea. So there's no grinding, really. Like, I didn't really... As weird as it sounds for the fact that I stood at that spot for like 2 hours killing birds, I didn't feel like this game was particularly grindy. I was just doing that effectively to fill out time, you know? And it certainly didn't make me feel overpowered. So, that's whatever. There's no towns to speak of. There's no hyper beam, standard, interface. We talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about the launch. We talked about levels. There's no level scale. There's no level scaling, right? Pretty sure. That's true, Inamisho. That is true. I didn't actually think about it. You're right. You're right. I already mentioned co-op on both the positive and the negative axis. Oh, you mean co-op scaling. Right. And yeah, there's the scaling invaders, but I don't think that really counts. I mean, it's its own thing, so... No level scaling to speak of. Lighting! This is what I was mentioning earlier. I actually gave a plus to the penalty for failure in this game, which I stand behind. I admittedly call that the Shovel Knight plus, even though I think Dark Souls actually predates Shovel Knight, but whatever. Map got positives. Mid-mission checkpoint got positives. Those little Margot, Marika, America stands. Those were good. Let's see here. That really applies. There's no mod support. Although, actually, by the way, really quick, just as like a public service announcement, did you see that there is a co-op mod out there? I almost wish someone had donated for that instead, because that changes the game substantially. But it just turns the game into a co-op game. You just invite someone, and they're just there with you playing the game. Exactly like I've wanted since forever. I just find it funny that someone just did that. But it involves editing the game files and effectively firing up a different version of the game. So, anyway, FYI for anybody interested in that. One moment here. Yeah, apparently it's just possible. It's, I don't know the details. I haven't looked into it too much. Okay. We gave the plus to New Game Plus. We talked about the outro, the overall design. We gave plus there. Here's a fun one. Replayability. Question mark. There we go. I'd say we could go and give a replay positive. I absolutely agree with that. Whoop. That's the wrong thing. That's Plague Tale Innocence. Also a replayable game, but for completely different reasons. There's no Raspberry Jam. There's no railroading to speak of. That is to say, invisible walling. The save system can go to hell. Sound design from a purely gameplay perspective. Oh, never mind. I already talked about this. Sorry. There's no strategic layer. There's none of that. Tutorialization was good. There's no unskippable cutscenes. Thank God. 5 cutscenes. We can skip every one of them. So that just leaves viscerality. What do we feel about that? I mean, several of the spells do look very cool. I agree with that. Yeah, I could easily feel a viscerality positive here. Just for feeling... Viscerality, for those of you who've never heard me talk about it, it's all about the oomph, right? You know, usually this comes up when it comes to gun design, which we'll be talking about probably tomorrow in Head-On. You know, does the gun look cool? Does it feel cool? Does it sound cool? Does it have impact? Ignore that feel one. Look, sound, impact. Those are the three markers, right? Does it look cool what you're doing? Does it sound cool what you're doing? Does it have that oomph from what you're doing? Yeah, the actual visceral attacks, ironically, it didn't really feel all that great in this one. But I think a lot of the other stuff did. Getting off a frostbite proc, or a bleed proc, or getting off a big spell hit, or managing to stagger someone, and just so forth and so on. So yeah, I could definitely feel viscerality there. And I believe that's everything. That's because it is. Checking. Yep, that's everything. Okay. That gives us a net... That can't be right. A net plus 15 to gameplay. Now, hang on. Let's do our calcs. Let's go ahead and go through and figure out what our golden number is. Hang on, hang on. We haven't calculated the golden number yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay, so Elden Ring. Five. Could I get a drum roll, please? The final score. It's gonna be funny. Yeah, I had an emote just for this because I'm weird. The final score, golden number for Elden Ring, is 80.74. And that about tracks for me. Now, I know what you're thinking. How did it rate against the only other one of these things we've rated? That would be Bloodborne. This rated higher than Bloodborne, and it should. I actually stand by that. Bloodborne got a 61.15. For a bit of perspective. Now, Darth Tyron guessed 80. Just straight up 80. So let's see if anybody got somehow miraculous. You would have to have guessed 81 in order to actually be closer on that. So let's see if anybody guessed 81. It looks like nobody did. So, congratulations, Tyron. I'll put that towards the Tor run. Okay. So, here's what's going to happen here. We're going to go ahead and not delete all that. God, pay attention, Laura. We're We're going to go ahead and reorganize the lists. I'm going to open it up very soon here for people to guess on the next one, if they would like to. If I could figure out how to do that. Come on. It's going to be the weirdest review we've ever done. We're about to review... Here, let me go ahead and open up the guessing game to editing for anybody who wants to get in there and edit their guesses early. But the next game we'll be reviewing is Stanley Parable, which I hope is out yet. When I checked this morning, it wasn't yet. Let's see if it's actually out yet. Nope. So whenever this releases, I'm going to buy it, and then we're going to stream it. So there might be a little bit of a delay before we actually jump into this. There will be no rumination for this game for reasons I've already elucidated upon. But I do like to give my final thoughts, and here's my final thoughts. It's a Dark Souls game. If you like Dark Souls, you're going to like this game. If you want something else or something different, this is not that. This is Dark Souls. It's Dark Souls. It's Dark Souls. I will admit, despite the fact that this game rates higher than Bloodborne, which I stand behind, I don't feel nearly as accomplished. I actually felt legitimately proud of some of what I accomplished in Bloodborne, and I don't here. There's maybe like 5 bosses I felt like I really enjoyed, or felt, you know, whatever for, and make of that what you will. I'm sure that people will yell at me for that opinion, and that's fine. But I only comment on that because one of the most common comments I excuse me, let me use past tense here, on YouTube was, Lore, the reason that people enjoy these games is specifically because of the feeling of accomplishment, which I do not have. I am glad to be done with it. Screw this game. So, moving on. I'm glad people like this. I really am. It makes me happy that people derive enjoyment from this game. When we come back, whenever the game comes out, we will go ahead and play Stanley Parable. Yesterday, Triaxia.